Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is April 21st, 2026. I've got a lot of news for you today. As always, this is not financial advice, just my own biased opinions. So taking a look at the charts today, things are, pretty static, pretty straightforward. Nothing's kind of happening. No pumps, no dumps, just straight across, pretty much zero movement on the so far. So I'm not going to bother going through each one of them. They're all pretty much the same. Okay, moving over to the news of the day. So this is the biggest news that obviously everyone's talking about today, and that is the Arbitrum Security Council has taken action. So basically, you can read this. It's pretty short, but basically they seized 30,766 ETH from the exploiter of the Kelp DAO Layer 0 exploit address. So the hacker stole a whole bunch of ETH from Kelp DAO and Layer 0 and stuff like this. And then Arbitrum saw that the hacker still had the ETH sitting in their wallet, and they used the council to basically take that ETH. So they took the ETH from that wallet and they put it into a DAO controlled multi-sig and said, the DAO is going to decide where this money goes. We just took it from the hacker. Now this sets a huge precedent in DeFi now, and it has changed the game a little bit. Like, we have always kind of considered L2s to be decentralized actors, even if they're not decentralized, completely decentralized contracts or smart contracts, or whatever you want to call it. Like, they've always had this power, but they didn't exercise it until today. So Arbitrum doing this has kind of changed the game a little bit. Now L2s are more likely to follow suit since Arbitrum has done it. Now a lot of people are talking about this and they're weighing in with their thoughts. I've selected a few of them. There's a whole bunch, so you'll see a lot of ideas and thoughts and outrage as well as support for this action, but it definitely changes the game quite a bit. So here we have Mert. Mert says the hate is weird on this. We've always known that Arbitrum is a stage one roll up. So what that basically means is they've always had this power to do this. It's just they didn't do it before, and now they've done it. So it's like, why are you guys so surprised? Like, they've always been able to do this, right? Cyril from Protocol FX and Aladdin DAO, he says basically, let's read what he says. Vitalik didn't kill L2s, he specialized them, and now we know what they specialize in: consumer apps. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. This is kind of, he's kind of on par with me. Like, I think it's kind of surprising that it has taken the L2s this long to take this sort of action, because they've always had the power to do it. And now that people are starting to use L1 a lot more, it's pretty cheap. You can get a transaction through for less than $1, right? So they have to specialize somehow, and I think this is a great way to do that. Like, if you go to an Arbitrum, then or Base or any of these L2s, then you kind of have some extra security measures or extra security certainties, right? Like, they might, if a large hack does happen, they might repeat this action of freezing and then giving the money to the DAO, and then the DAO kind of deciding how to distribute that money back to the victims, right? So I think it's pretty, I kind of like it. I'm a little bit, surprised. I'm a little bit on the fence about how I feel about it, but for the most part, I think it's a good action. It's kind of like, it's kind of the better of the good, the lesser of the evils, if you will, right? So Gabriel Sapiro comes out and says he's kind of taking it all the way to the other side, and I'm not sure if he how he feels about this in his heart, but what he has to say is truth. Like, he's not making up shit, right? Let's read what he says. Okay, when a multi-sig gets hacked, people are angry. There was a multi-sig that controlled things, right? So that happens a lot. People are angry. The multi-sig was in control of this app. The multi-sig got hacked, and all the money was taken. Why did you have a multi-sig? Why didn't you make it permissionless and immutable and stuff like that, right? So he's right on that. But when it's used to reverse hacks, people are happy that there's a multi-sig that controls things. And then he goes on to say like in his opinion, arbitrary censorship resistance, he's like, I think PayPal with more accountability and transparency is probably better and a more commercially interesting model to build towards than Bitcoin with the exceptions for North Korea. So what he's saying is like, if we're going to do like controlled like multi-sig L1s that like freeze funds that were hacked and take it away, then we should just go with completely centralized entities, completely centralized systems, and it's just easier and better, because then there's like, there's like there's accountability and transparency regulations for like PayPal has to like submit like transparency reports because they're a publicly traded company and stuff like this, right? So he's like, why don't we just do that instead? I'm kind of not really with him here, because what makes Arbitrum a little bit different is the money is now in the hands of the DAO, and the DAO will decide the best action of where to send that money to. Like he does somewhere else, he did say that like, well, PayPal has a board of directors and they can do that, right? But the DAO is a little bit more than a board of directors. Like it's a little bit bigger, and there's a little bit more, governance and transparency, as well as like the power of the people to decide where those funds go. But he has a good point, right? And so like that's all I'm going to really talk about this today. These are the only ones I'm going to share. There's a lot out there. You can go kind of spend a whole day just reading people's takes on this thing and outrage and so forth. But I kind of support it. I kind of like it. I think it's not a terrible thing what they did, and I'm surprised that it has taken this long for an L2 to actually take this sort of action, because it's always been there. It like the whole decentralization and the whole immutability and all of this stuff. It's always been just a show, like a drama or something. Like it was just for show. Like they've always had this power until they actually become a completely decentralized, immutable ledger. They can't do that. Now, if you are worried about them censoring your funds, then you have to use mainnet. It's kind of simple as that now. Like if you go to Arbitrum or Base or anything like this, you can consider it. They have the power to freeze your funds. They always have, but now they might do it, right? If they're given a court order or something, they might do this, right? I don't know. Okay, so let's move on. So Yearn is talking about. So this kind of made me laugh, and it's so true, because I've been down in the bottom of this picture so much. So it's like depositing Yearn and just chill, right? Go about your life, or bridge to L2, deposit loop for 12% yield, monitor your position health, withdrawal during the bank runs. I've been in these positions so much. Maybe I don't really do a lot of looping and stuff like that, but I've definitely been like trying to get my ass out of places that are on fire, right? So depositing Yearn, I wish I would have deposited in Yearn all of my life and just forgot about a lot of stuff, because they reacted to the kelp very quickly, and they pulled the funds from Aave before Aave was frozen. They were out quick time, right? So I'll take that as a chance now to shill my Yearn Vault. I've talked about this in the past, but these are referral deposit UI. You can come here, you can deposit into Yearn Finance various vaults. I'll add more if we need more. If you want a vault, just ask me, I will add one. But basically, you can just come here, you can deposit, and all that happens is Yearn will split their performance fees with me. So you can help support my channel, my content, by simply depositing in here, and they will give me some of their fees. You will get the same yield as if you deposit in Yearn, and then you can also then withdraw here if you want. I've added withdrawal features, but you can also just go to Yearn and withdraw from there if that's something you would rather do. This is simply a deposit thing. Now, if you do know how to do this, like you can also go to the one of the contracts here, and you can use my referral link down here, and you can deposit through the contracts or through a C command line interface if that's what you want. All of your funds only touch a Yearn contracts. I have deployed no contracts to the blockchain to do this. It's merely a front end. So anyhow, let's move on. So Frax Finance is growing again, and it's awesome. I'm very happy to see Frax Finance growing. So SFRX hits 45 million today. So it's a significant growth upwards, and I'm happy to see that has happened. Okay, so moving on. So here we have Hey Anon has decided, the DAO has voted. So the Hey Anon DAO has voted on these two agentic agents, AI agents. And this one here, Nikita XBT says it's an on-chain analyst meme savant AI agent incubated by Hey Anon. The token is live if you want. Guardian Angel, which is your 24/7 DeFi guardian, zero custody, auto exit on threat, never sleeps. So this is pretty cool too. So it's basically an AI agent that's going to help you to quickly withdraw from things in scary times, right? So you can check out these. They're incubated by Hey Anon. So I'm happy to see Hey Anon is doing these kinds of AI agent incubations. So you can, if you are building AI agents, you can reach out to them. They might increase this campaign, or maybe support you in some ways. Okay, moving on. So here we have this. I just had this light bulb. I'm going to read this, okay? I just had this light bulb moment. Something that has never been done before in finance. What if Tom Lee made a new way to print money out of and buy more ETH? Hear me out. This is revolutionary. Bitmine issues perpetual preferred stock. Let's call it these things. No maturity date ever. Pays a juicy monthly cash dividend like 11%. And if the trade's under $100, crank the yields higher to attract buyers. It pays monthly, now bi-weekly dividends, every dollar raised. So he's talking about like basically, MicroStrategy's perpetual notes, right? But and he's like, isn't this what ETHStrategy is doing? And he's like, yeah. And Econs replies to this somewhere. He's like, yeah, this is exactly what. Like, it kind of shocks me, or it kind of saddens me that like ETHStrat already has this, and it's already on chain, and you can easily participate in it. And it's just it's just like flying under the radar right now. So it's like, check it out. I did a tweet yesterday about this. You can check out. I've got videos on all of this stuff. You can look it up and figure it out. Okay, moving on. So here we have Optimism. Optimist Prime has dropped this article. Again, go in here, read it. There's a further reading down here. But basically, it's a privacy stack. Okay, so I'm going to read a few things out of here, a few excerpts. Okay, so a user first deposits public balances into the privacy boost. That initial action is visible on the Block Explorer. Once the funds are inside the protocol, everything is fully private. If a user onboards a private balance, it's private end to end. Outsiders can't see the transactions. Other participants on the same chain can't see your transactions. Even Sunnyside Labs, the builder of this thing, the operator, can't see the transactions processed inside the privacy thing. And regulators and auditors can selectively get selective disclosure through viewing keys. They can see exactly what you authorize, nothing more, nothing less. So this is a way for institutions to come on chain a little bit more. They can have privacy. But they can also, show transparency to regulators or law enforcement or something like this in the cases that happens. So I think this is pretty cool. It's like a protocol built on top of Optimism, or I'm not sure of how live it is yet. And as you can see, this image kind of shows you quite clearly what it is. Like, not all of Optimism will be privacy, but you can elect to use this privacy protocol on the Optimism stack. Okay, so check that out. Okay, here we have Michael Svoboda from Liquidity. He's got this long article about the journey of like stable coins and what it's a pretty cool article. It's like a metaphor of like using, instead of just thinking of like stable coins as stable coins, you can kind of think of them as a travel, right? And like he's got all these like parallels drawn. Like a travel agent is who books the trip, and like who is the travel agent is like the contracts or the DAO or this kind of stuff. The hotel is where do you put your stable coins to sleep, or so the hotels here is like basically the contracts where you can deploy your to get yield and all this kind of stuff like that. So you can read through this article. I think it's pretty interesting, and even you can just read it here because obviously this is Token Bryce right here in the middle. I think it's just a perfect image of Token Bryce. He looks like he's got a little bit of a haircut though. But anyways, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is the last tweet for the day, and this is a little bit of a long one. So if you get bored, then you can quit. But basically, this guy is he's constantly like I don't want to say fighting, but he's constantly questioning things on Flying Tulip. He's like, Flying Tulip is a rug. Look at the price chart. Like, he's like, what he says here, looks like a rug, smells like a rug, burns like a rug. It's a rug. Thoughts. And he kind of, he's retweeting this chart. And I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me why someone would sell Flying Tulip below 10 cents. They paid 10 cents for it. They can get their 10 cents back by withdrawing 10 cents from the put options, or they can wait for the price to recover. But there's people selling. So I kept thinking, look, well, why are people selling something that they bought for 10 cents for 6 cents or 5 cents or 7 cents or whatever it is, right? And it just couldn't make sense to me. So I started digging around and tried to figure out what's what, okay? So first of all, I want to say that the 10 million is in fact decreasing. Like I verified that there's no inflation, there's no tokens coming into the circulation that are being sold, right? It's all purely every 10 billion of these tokens is backed by 10 cents. Someone paid 10 cents for these tokens, okay? And now it's even less than 10 billion tokens because the protocol has earned yield and is using that to buy FT tokens and burn some of them, and some of them are being given as yield. But those were bought tokens that were bought, okay? So every FT was paid 10 cents for it, but people are selling it for a loss. And I just can't understand it. It's like, why would somebody do that? So I started digging a little bit deeper, and I found that there is this multisig here. So I'm digging in deeper into what is this multisig. It's basically one of the VCs. So the VCs didn't get all of their tokens into an NFT. They got tokens put into their multisig. So now they have a different option here. They can sell. And maybe if you look at this multisig is not selling to the market, but what they are doing is they're selling to where is this contract? They're basically putting them into this smart contract here. And if you go to this smart contract, you will see that it is basically an OTC escrow contract. So they're making some private deals with people, right? So I went through some of the transactions in here, and it's clear that somebody bought Flying Tulip tokens from this VC, and they paid ETH for it. Now, ETH has done this since that purchase happened. So ETH has gone up in value, whereas Flying Tulip has gone down in value. So I think for sure that a lot of these sells, these big ones, are these guys who bought Flying Tulip OTC from the VC, and maybe they paid ETH, and they've seen that if they had held ETH, they would be up. But since they held Flying Tulip, they are down, and they're just rage quitting. This is the only thing that can make sense to me. These are all of these are like OTC sale contract, like all sent. I didn't check all of them, but they're like OTC send assets to people. But all of these tokens, this multisig, every token inside this multisig was bought for 10 cents. So if anyone sells it below 10 cents, they're taking a loss. So that's the only reason I can think of for a chart to look like this when the system is set up the way it is set up. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope this has been interesting and useful, and thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.